So maybe you've built a life most men would envy. Maybe the business is growing, the paycheck is strong, the LinkedIn looks impressive, but behind closed doors, you feel like a stranger in your own home. Maybe you can command a boardroom, but not a living room. Maybe you can close deals with confidence, but you can't seem to connect with your own wife. Maybe you can lead your team, but not your emotions. You see, that's the double life of a high performer. And brother, I've lived it. Because a few years ago, I was that man. A senior leader in one of the fastest growing nonprofit organizations in the country. I was respected, I was admired for my leadership, and I was secretly ashamed. I was ashamed that deep down I knew I could win at work, but secretly I knew I was failing at home. I was ashamed that everyone at work was getting the best 99% of me, but by the time I got home, my wife was getting the last 1%, the scraps left over. The version of me that was too tired, too tense, and too distracted to actually be there. And if that hits you in the gut, my friend, stay with me today, because in this episode, we're going to unpack why high-performing men live these split lives and how to finally lead with power and peace, both in the office and at home. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Dad Nation podcast, the place where high-performing men are empowered to reclaim their home, their health, and their happiness while enhancing their career success. You see, in a world full of noise, burnout, and mediocrity, we believe what's missing is courageous and compassionate leadership in the home, because when the dad gets better, the whole family wins. You see, this isn't just a podcast. It's a movement of men who refuse to settle for less in our families, our focus, and our future. We are curse breakers and we are legacy makers. And I'm your host, Mitchell Osmond, and I'm honored that you have chosen to invest your most valuable asset, which is your time with me today. Now let's get into it. All right, y'all, this episode is going to be a banger, okay? But before we jump in, I want to invite you to an incredible opportunity that only a few men are going to get to be a part of, okay? And maybe you're listening right now and you've built the career you're proud of. Maybe you're respected at work, admired by your peers, and you've achieved that level of success that men only dream of, kind of like what I talked about in the beginning of the episode. But at home, it's a different story. If your wife feels distant, maybe the spark is barely there, and the conversations are either surface level or maybe they're just tense. You've tried date nights, you've tried gifts, and you've even tried staying quiet to avoid conflict, and somehow it backfires. Nothing seems to work. But I want you to imagine this with me. I want you to imagine walking through the door and seeing your wife light up when she sees you. Imagine her respecting, admiring, and desiring you again. Imagine being the hero to your kids, not just the guy who pays the bills. Imagine leading your family with the same confidence and clarity that you bring to your business. Now, this isn't just wishful thinking, all right? It's a choice. And on November 3rd, 2025, I am hosting the Date Your Wife Challenge, okay? And over 5 days, from Monday to Friday, you will spend 1 hour with me and a community of other like-minded men. And you are going to plan unforgettable date nights that reignite the spark. You're going to learn how to meet your wife's 3 deepest emotional needs to deepen connection. You're going to learn how to handle conflict like a pro and bring the fire back into your marriage. But now I want to be clear. This won't be some giant sales pitch or some giant info dump, okay? It's going to be practical and tactical, okay? You're going to get strategies to take away because it's a challenge. So you will be challenged. You'll be pushed. You will have homework. You will be called to action. But what's the reward? It's real change. It's a reignited marriage. It's renewed confidence. It's clear direction. So if you want to deepen your connection and start building the marriage you've always wanted, I want you to sign up today at dateyourwifechallenge.com. Okay? Brother, don't let your marriage slip through your fingers. And here's the thing, I'm capping the attendance because I want to make sure that I can serve you as powerfully as possible. So spots are going to be limited, right? And once the tickets are sold, they're done and we close the doors. So go to dateyourwifechallenge.com, grab your ticket now, okay? I'm going to put the link in the show notes below so you have my permission. Pause the episode, pull over if you're driving on the highway, and get the ticket, all right? Okay, now let's get back into the episode, because there is a moment that every driven man eventually hits. You wake up one day realizing that the success you've built has actually outpaced the soul that built it. You've mastered the art of control, of strategy, of delegation, of execution, but you've lost the art of connection. You see, I remember sitting in my car one night after another long day. It was like 11-hour day. My phone was buzzing nonstop, getting emails and text messages. And even though I was exhausted from work, I didn't want to go into the house. In fact, I was dreading it. I was literally praying to God for strength. Not because I didn't love my wife, but because I didn't know what was waiting for me on the other side of the door. You see, I didn't know what fight was going to happen. It was tense, it was exhausting, it was overwhelming. And here's the thing. I was powerful at work, but I was powerless at home. Now that was, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, but I remember it very, very well. And the thing is that most men aren't failing because they don't care. That wasn't my situation. I cared a lot. But they're failing because no one has ever trained them on how to lead emotionally. Because there's a high likelihood that you were trained on how to manage numbers, but not emotions. You might be trained on how to scale a business, but not how to sustain intimacy. You might be trained on how to build teams, but not trust in your own home. According to a study in JAMA Psychiatry, found that men with high work stress and low emotional awareness are 3 times more likely to experience relationship dissatisfaction and disconnection. 3 times. Friends, this is not about weakness. It's about being untrained in the areas that actually determine our peace, our passion, and our purpose. Because here's the thing. You can have all the income in the world and still feel bankrupt emotionally. You can have the title but lose the trust. That's the double life. So let's talk about why it happens. Because when I was going through this personally, at times it felt like I was 2 different people trapped in the same body. I could lead staff meetings and build teams and all day, but when I came home, I didn't even know how to talk to my wife. I was experiencing this duality that was tearing me apart. Because it's not just about bad habits or poor time management. It's much deeper than that. It's an identity split. Because at work, you know the rules. You know how to win. You know how to measure success. But when you get home, the rules are invisible. The lines get blurry, right? The metrics are emotional, and there's no scoreboard. You can't KPI your marriage. You can't A/B test intimacy, right? I joke about this all the time with my clients, but your 6-year-old is never going to come up to you when you walk through the door and be like, hey, daddy, here are 6 data points to show how you've been improving as a father in the last quarter. It's not going to happen, all right? You're never going to get that clarity. So when men don't know how to measure progress at home, we naturally drift towards the environment that does reward us, which is work, right? And this is actually part of our wiring as men. The masculine essence is driven by mission, by excellence, by goals, by accomplishments. So what happens is at work, you get feedback, you get affirmation, you get recognition, you get attaboys, right? But at home, maybe you often get silence or tension or confusion. And without realizing, you start chasing validation at work instead of connection at home. What happens is you work harder for them instead of being present with them. You build the empire to protect them, but lose the connection that actually anchors them. According to divorce statistics in the U.S. today, up to 90% of divorces in the U.S. are initiated by women. And when the researchers asked why, the most common answer isn't infidelity, right? Finances, anything like that. It was emotional disconnection. Brother, most women do not leave because they stop loving their husband. They leave because they stop feeling loved by their husband. And here's the pattern that I see in almost every high performer that I coach, okay? It's 4 steps. I've been in all 4 of these, and I want you to listen to them and see where you're at in these steps. Hey, brother, if you are listening to this show, you've most likely built a successful career. You handle pressure, you lead teams, and you get results. But when was the last time you really connected with your wife beyond the calendar, the kids, and the to-do list? Well, if that sounds like you, I have a free gift for you today called the Connection Code. Which are 50 questions to break the silence, spark the fun, and bring the fire back. These questions are going to help you learn what she truly desires from you, to break out of the routine and to rediscover fun, and to spark deeper passion and connection without forcing awkward conversations. Listen, most men assume their wives feel loved, but the best husbands ask great questions and keep the connection alive. So if your date nights feel more like board meetings, and if you've gone from soulmates to roommates, and I want you to download this connection code for free and start the kind of conversations that bring you closer tonight. You can grab your copy at dadnationcode.com/code or hit the link in the show notes below. All right, let's get back into it. Number one, the first step is the overachiever cycle. What happens is you overcommit at work to avoid feeling inadequate at home. Then the next step is the emotional shutdown. Because you've been working so much, you don't know how to process the stress, so you numb it through work, through more work, through scrolling, through silence, shutting down, right? You start to check out for a lot of reasons, but you end up not taking ownership of the things around the house or the things in the relationship to help your wife. The third step is the roommate reality. What happens is you and your wife start coexisting. You start managing tasks instead of nurturing connection. See, the marriage descends into this dull partnership where you feel more like colleagues than husband and wife. And four, the drift. This is where intimacy fades, where joy disappears, and you start living parallel lives under the same roof. And even if you do go on date nights, they end up feeling more like board meetings or staff meetings because you're just going through the agenda. You're talking about the finances, the kids' schedules, the errands that you need to run, and it's boring. And in my experience, most men don't even know it's happening until it's too late. But friend, here is the good news. You don't need to be perfect to rebuild connection. You just need to be present. When I finally faced my double life, I realized this truth. My wife didn't need my productivity. She needed my presence. So I started small. So I'm going to give you something that you can implement today that's going to help you change the tide, okay? I want you to commit to 1 hour a day, fully unplugged, fully present with your family, okay? No phone, no agenda, no multitasking. Listen, if I can do it, you can do it. I got a few things going on. If any of you are close to me in my personal life, you know what's going on. I'm a busy guy, okay? But if I can do it, you can too. Here's the thing. Take 20 minutes with your wife. Full eye contact, okay? Don't stare at her. Don't be weird about it. But, practice curiosity. Ask her questions about her day. Appreciate her, right? Acknowledge her. Be present in the room. Then spend 20 minutes with your kids at some point throughout the day. Remember, I talked about eye-level play. Get down to their level. Play with them. Laugh with them. Listen to their day. Listen to what's going on. And then 20 minutes for yourself. Spend time reflecting, writing out in your gratitude journal, reading scripture, praying, spending time in silence, whatever that looks like for you. Okay, 20, 40, 60 minutes. Listen, this single hour can transform the atmosphere of your home because your energy is the thermostat, okay? You set the emotional temperature of your home. And when you run hot, everyone burns. When you run cold, everyone freezes. But when you are grounded emotionally, everyone feels safe. So let me give you a framework that's going to help you lead at home even if you feel unqualified. I call it the triple E framework, okay? Engage, empathize, express. Number one, engage. Engage without fixing, okay? You don't need to solve every problem. Sometimes your presence is the solution. When your wife opens up, resist the urge to fix it. Listen like a good leader does. Listen, your wife does not need a savior. She needs a safe place, okay? Number two, empathize. Here's the next part, without reacting, okay? Emotional leadership is about regulation, not reaction. When tension arises, I want you to slow your breathing, lower your tone, because when you model calm, they will mirror calm back to you. Number three is to express without shame. Don't be afraid of your feelings. Don't be ashamed of your feelings. Okay, this one is the most important because I know for a fact 95% of the men listening struggle with this. I know I do. I still do. I have to tell myself this all the time. And you ready for what it is? Tell her what you actually feel, whether you're afraid, whether you're anxious, whether you're whatever that looks like. And also, if it's something she's sharing with you, if something she's upset about, take ownership of your part. Humbly communicate what deep down you're struggling with. You might say something like, hey babe, I've realized that I've been distracted lately, and I don't like the man that I've been showing up as. All right, that's humble, that's honest, right? That's not weakness, that's strength. Great leaders are self-aware. Also, they're aware that they're not perfect, and they take total ownership. And that's what your family is waiting for. Not the perfect man who doesn't make mistakes, or at least thinks he doesn't. They're waiting for the one who is aware, who is humble, and who is fully present. So here's your challenge this week, okay? I want you to spend 15 minutes sitting with your wife tonight. No phone, no TV. Maybe you can stretch it to 20 minutes if you have time. And I want you to ask her one question. What's one thing I can do this week to make you feel more connected to me? Simple question. Then just listen. Don't get defensive. Don't start trying to fix things. Just be where your feet are in that room, wherever you are. And then you better implement on whatever it is that she says. Okay? Because the worst thing you can do is listen to her and not follow through. And then tomorrow, I want you to spend 10 minutes of eye-level time with your kids. Ask them about their world. Play with them, laugh with them, wrestle with them, connect with them. Because this kind of leadership isn't just about impact, it's about intimacy. Because the man who learns to lead emotionally will never have to fear losing the respect, the love, or the admiration of his family ever again. So as we wrap up this episode, listen, brother, I want you to be encouraged. You don't have to live a double life anymore. You can be both powerful in business and peaceful at home. You can lead teams and you can nurture trust. You can be strong and still tender. Because the truth is, your wife doesn't want the CEO version of you. She wants the man who once fought for her heart. Your family are not employees looking for direction. They are the most important relationships that are actually looking for connection. That's it. You already know how to win. Now it's time to win where it matters most. And listen, man, you already know how to win. You do it all day at work. Now it's time to win where it matters the most. So listen, if this episode hit home for you today, if this resonated with you, I want you to join the Date Your Wife Challenge on November 3rd, okay? 3 weeks from today, the launch of this episode. It's going to be such a powerful week together. You are going to walk away with a step-by-step plan to reignite the spark in your marriage. You're going to get more passion, more intimacy, more connection without having to do therapy or talk about your feelings, right? You're going to get tactical tools and plans to communicate effectively without blow-ups or shutdowns. You're going to capture daily wins that help build momentum and confidence in yourself as a husband. And lastly, my favorite part is you're going to be surrounded by a brotherhood of like-minded men who understand your struggles and are walking the same road to success with you. So let's build the marriage you've always wanted, okay? So head over to dateyourwifechallenge.com or hit the link in the show notes below. Listen, that's all for me, my friends. Have an incredible week. I hope to see you in the challenge and in your corner, as always. Talk soon. Thank you for tuning into the Dad Nation podcast today. Listen, if today's conversation challenged you, if it encouraged you or helped you level up in any area of your life, would you do me a favor? Take 60 seconds to rate and review the show on whatever platform you're listening on. This helps us reach more men who need to hear this message. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Dad Nation YouTube channel, where you're going to find full episodes, clips, and exclusive content designed to help you win at home just like you do at work. All right, remember, your family does not need perfection. They need your presence. Your leadership matters. So keep showing up, keep leveling up, and never forget, when the dad gets better, the whole family wins. We'll see you next time.